Alright guys, Darren from FBA Elite and welcome back to another video. So what is going on with this thumbnail? Well, I didn't actually release a video last week, and contrary to what this thumbnail might suggest, I didn't go and get a gender change. But there is an important message, or two messages actually, that I want to get across in this video that will help you as an Amazon seller. Now some of you will be aware of this already, but I really want to drive home this point, as it does make a huge difference as to whether you have a good chance of making money on Amazon with FBA or not. Now, before I get into this thumbnail, let me just talk you through some background to this. So when you found a product that you want to sell on Amazon, the majority of people will be going to Alibaba to find a supplier. Now, usually that involves going through lots of different suppliers, messaging them individually and asking them whether they can help you with the product you're looking to sell. Now, one thing that I've been using fairly frequently recently is the submit an RFQ, and pretty much you just send out what you want to various suppliers and then they will contact you instead. So instead of sending out hundreds of different messages, not hundreds, but quite a few different messages, you submit one inquiry and then these suppliers will get in contact with you. Now, it's not the best system, to be honest, as you will get a lot of spam and a lot of suppliers that aren't relevant. And that's why I wanted to focus on the thumbnail and what happens when you use this system. So imagine you've submitted an RFQ, so you've gone through this form, you submitted your requirements, then you start getting lots of messages from different suppliers. Now what you will notice is a number of these suppliers, now I've scrolled back quite a way here so you can't see the recent products that I'm looking at. A number of these suppliers are using, what should we say, attractive young Chinese ladies to encourage people to click on them versus other suppliers. So imagine you submit your RFQ, you get like 20 responses the next day. You don't really want to go through them all, so you end up clicking on the prettiest girl. Now I know that sounds really cavemanish to say that, but it does work. Now I've just clicked through some of the ones from the most recent RFQ that I've done. Unfortunately, the quality is really low, which is probably good, otherwise the algorithm might rate this at 18. But you can see here, they're all taking a very similar approach. I very much doubt you are talking to these people. And also, I'm sure they'll have lovely Western names as well. But the one thing that you want to take away from this is that they understand the behaviors of the people using Alibaba. Now, rightly or wrongly, but they understand it. So they know taking this approach gives them an edge over the competition. And this comes very much directly back to selling on Amazon. And I'm going to show you 3 different examples of this at the end of the video. So make sure you stick around for that. But if you imagine that scenario, you've got all of these lovely ladies messaging you, and then you get poor old Jack here. I mean, Jack's not going to get as many clicks. He might be the best supplier of the lot. And hopefully most of the people watching this video wouldn't be clicking on a supplier based on how they look anyway. But obviously this is how a percentage of that audience works. So this is why they're taking that approach. So that is why I've done the thumbnail this week, is to drive home that point. And I apologize to the ladies watching this. It is quite a crass way of showing this, but it's something you really need to understand when you're marketing your product on Amazon. I'm not saying you have to do it in this kind of sexual way that these guys are, but you have to understand that your product needs to stand out versus the competition. The other thing you need to do is to understand your audience. So this is why I went with the thumbnail this week as an experiment. This video might absolutely bomb, but let's go into my channel statistics here. And you can see here over the past 28 days, I have an 83% male audience. So it makes sense to try this thumbnail to see what the click-through rate is like. So imagine this was on Amazon. You developed a product to focus on a particular preference of the customer base you're focused on. It will give you a much better chance. So those are the 2 takeaways from this video. So I'm going to show you the examples in a moment. So you need to understand, you need to stand out amongst the competition, and you also need to understand your audience and who you're appealing to, whether it's based on gender, whether it's based on age, or whether it's based on something else. And then make sure you customize your listing to appeal to your audience. So I take you through Amazon now with some just very basic examples of how this could work in a much more grown-up way, you might say, than what I've shown you so far. So these are A3 photo frames, and let's take a look at the top seller. So here we are, this is the top organic seller. Now, why do you think this guy is at the top, or girl, should I say? Why do you think they are at the top? Is it because they've got the best photo frame? Maybe, maybe not. They might have the worst photo frame. Obviously, that probably be reflected in the reviews. But it certainly doesn't mean they have the best photo frame. But the chances are, because they've used this opportunity here within their product image, It's only a pink picture of a buffalo, I would guess. They've used that, but that stands out, that draws the eye. So these 3 photo frames might be much better photo frames, but this is the one drawing the eye, and this is why this is ranked organically #1 versus the other one. So always keep that in mind. How can you draw the eye? Now, I'm not saying stick a lady like this on your product image. I'm saying be much more subtle, be considerate of what's going on within your niche, and think what you can do like this versus this horrible plain one here to stand out and get customers to click through onto your product. So that's one example. Another example here is something I covered in a previous video. Everyone's selling salt lamps that look almost identical. So these guys here, very simple. They've put their packaging in. It makes them look a little bit more premium. So that's probably why they are the 2nd ranked organic seller, because they've done something slightly different. And the 3rd and final example I want to go over in this video. This is something I was actually looking at the weekend as I was trying to find a last minute gift for my mum for Mother's Day. And you can go through here and get an idea of what people are doing. So people are bundling within this niche to stand out. So the first one here, they've bundled some oils with their diffuser to help it stand out. Now these guys actually have both of these organic listings, 1 and 2. So they're not competing with another seller, just competing with themselves. These guys are bundling as well. These guys have actually colored the lamp. So it's not blue by default. They're showing it on, and it's got a remote control as well. So they're using different things to help them stand out. And if we go further down, things start to get, you can see they get a bit more crazy where people are trying to stand out. And the reason I wanted to use this niche, as this is very much a typical FBA niche from a few years ago. So there's lots of FBA sellers in this niche really trying to stand out. That's why you're seeing crazy colors. That's why you're seeing bundling, poor graphics, and things like that that will help people stand out. And as we go further down the search results, people that aren't organically ranked, like these ones here, these look much more boring. This isn't a very good photo. That's why they aren't ranked well organically, and they're having to pay for PPC instead. When you compare that here, the way that's shot, to even the top plain one here, this looks a lot nicer. So always think about how you're going to stand out in the niche. It doesn't matter if you've got the best product if your customer is not enticed to click onto your listing. Amazon care about one thing, that's conversions, and you can only get conversions if you persuade a customer to click through to your listing. So that's it for this week's video. It's a bit of a different take to what I would usually share with you guys, but hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want to talk to me and over 4,000 other sellers, head over to the FBAelite.com forums. It's completely free. We've got lots of resources over there that will help you with your FBA journey as well as some discounts on things such as Helium 10. So make sure you check that out and use those discount codes to help you with your Amazon FBA business. What I'm going to do now is pop up a couple of videos that will help you with your Amazon FBA journey, and I'll see you guys in the next video.